Good morning. This is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. The significant fire potential impacts are shown here for the next few days. We really don't have too much to talk about. There's going to be a few showers moving through northeast Nevada and southern Idaho today, and maybe lingering over the next couple of days. But in general, we're going to be seeing a warming and drying pattern across the basin. Yesterday was a pretty active day in parts of the area, especially eastern Idaho, northern Utah, and a little bit into western Wyoming as a low exited the area to the north and east. Initial attack activity was pretty light yesterday. We've got reported 2 new fires for 0.35 acres and no update on our large fire growth, which I believe was pretty minimal. Precipitation percent of normal is shown here for the past 7 days on the left and 14 days on the right. We can see some areas that have been pretty wet for the past couple of weeks. That includes southern Nevada, southwest Utah, central and northern Nevada, and portions of Idaho. There's been just storm after storm moving through these areas, keeping things pretty fire danger quite moderated there. A few dry pockets out there. Eastern Utah has been pretty dry the last couple of weeks, and there's a few little dry pockets in Idaho as well. ERCs are shown here, the percentiles. They're all below the 50th percentile at the moment and heading downward, at least as of yesterday. But now that that low's moved off to the east, we should expect to see ERCs starting to trend upward with warmer and drier air moving in. Taking a closer look at a couple of these PSAs here in northwest Nevada, we can see those values are quite a bit below average for the time of year. And then here in south central Utah, the values are also below normal, maybe not quite as dramatically, but certainly still below normal for the time of year and much below any kind of historical records that we've had. This morning's satellite imagery shows that low that we had over the weekend moved off to the east pretty quickly. We have another little low moving through the flow into northern Nevada today, which could kick off some showers and thunderstorms there over central and northern Nevada and southern Idaho. They'll be somewhat isolated there, but we'll keep the relative humidities high in that area with warming and drying starting to move in across the south. So again, for today, drier air in place over southern Nevada and southern Utah, and we can see this little low quickly moving through or moving across northern Nevada into southern Idaho today. And here's a closer look at where we might see some of that precip with that little low, mainly focusing over northeast Nevada and possibly moving up into western Wyoming. Maximum temperatures today are still on somewhat on the low side, with highs in the upper 70s to maybe around 80 across our northern valleys, but we will be warming in the coming days. On Wednesday, we can see the high pressure ridge starting to strengthen over the desert southwest. That will bring continued warm and dry conditions to the Great Basin, especially Utah and southern Nevada. There's still a little bit of moisture in the atmosphere further north, and there is another little low that will quickly move through the flow here. Maximum temperatures increase by Wednesday up to the mid 80s. Relative humidities are decreasing across the south, especially southeast Utah. We'll see those relative humidities drop down into the low teens, but will remain elevated elsewhere. On Thursday, more of the same is expected as that ridge remains in place with warming and drying region-wide. We see a little bit of very isolated storms across Idaho as a little bit of moisture rotates around that ridge. Again, keeping the relative humidities high across the north and decreasing across the south and southeast. The 3-day precip totals are shown here. Not much to speak of, just a little bit of precip there in northeast Nevada, southern Idaho, with the low moving through there today. And then a few little isolated showers here and there into Thursday. On Friday, the ridge remains in place over the southwest, keeping things warm and dry. There's a little bit of moisture underneath that ridge that may begin to work its way into the far southern reaches of the Great Basin. So we really we're not looking for extremely dry conditions or extended extremely dry conditions really anywhere in the basin. We can see the tropical storm off the coast of Baja California here. We do expect a little bit of that moisture to be drawn up into the flow and rotate into the southern Great Basin, maybe starting Saturday. And then by Sunday, we can see a little bit more of that moisture moving into the southern Great Basin, but still staying dry across the central portions of the area, and then maybe a little moisture here into Idaho, just keeping the relative humidities elevated there. And then we'll see that pattern continue into Monday with moisture across the south, and then this dry layer here through the central Great Basin. The 7-day precip totals are shown here. Not a lot of precip expected in the extended, just we can see a little bit of moisture moving into southern Nevada or southern Utah, that tropical with that some of that tropical moisture moving in towards the weekend. Otherwise, generally dry. The extended outlook for September 12th through the 18th puts above normal temperatures in place across the entire Great Basin and near normal precip across the area as well. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.